I don't typically make news piece videos about things which aren't going to happen because it's kind of pointless, but on this occasion, this is a brand which I've decided to make an exception for, because in a statement put out recently by Lister, of course a legendary brand from here in the UK, from Motorsports to of course the legendary Storm supercar, one of my favourite supercars of all time, to recreations of the Lister Nobly, etc., and of course their tuned versions of various Jaguars like the F-Type and the F-Pace. They are, as I said, a legendary brand, and I, as well as many of you as well, have been eagerly awaiting a new Lister model. Some of you may not have been aware, but they did have plans for a new car. Some rumoured it could have been something like a Storm 2, perhaps a modern day supercar, and it would have aligned quite well with stuff like the Callum Design CX-75 and the TWR Supercat. It's kind of a revival time for these Jaguar kind of supercars. We don't know if it was going to be something like that, but it would have been a cool idea. They have released a statement regarding, in particular, the UK's attitude toward electric vehicles moving forward, and instead of paraphrasing, I'll read it straight from the horse's mouth. So, a statement from the Lister Motor Company. As Britain's oldest racing car manufacturer, the Lister Motor Company has been proudly producing race and road-going versions of our Nobly and Coston continuation cars for the last 10 years. We pride ourselves on sourcing all of our materials from Great Britain, not only to support British businesses, but because that's how our cars have always been built. The Zero Emission Vehicle ZEV mandate, released on the 3rd of January 2024, so around a year ago, over a year ago at this point, dictates that all new cars must produce zero emissions by 2035, a date that our current government has said that they will bring forward to 2030. That means in just 5 short years, it's crazy to think we're that close to it, all cars sold in the UK are likely to be electric. In the past, small volume British car manufacturers such as ourselves, Morgan, Caterham, Ginetta, etc. have been exempt from emission demands because we produce less than 1,000 cars per annum under the IVA or SVA type approval. However, so far the UK government has yet to state if this exemption will continue, and of course that is a valid point. It may still continue, so there is some hope there, but I mean, if Lister's putting out a statement, clearly there is reason to be concerned at the business level, if not at the fan level. This year, our 71st year in business, we had plans to create a brand new car for the road, our first new model in over 32 years. This multi-million pound investment would not only secure Lister's future, but would create many new jobs, not only at our head office and factory, but with many suppliers throughout the UK. As it stands, with no clarity on the future rules for IVA or SVA type approval cars, we've taken the incredibly difficult and heartbreaking decision to put all future plans on hold. Financially, Lister is in a very strong position with zero borrowings outside our group of companies. That's excellent to hear. But unlike larger manufacturers, we simply cannot afford to gamble on the future of our business. Also a very smart move. As a profitable tax-paying UK car manufacturer, we request an urgent update to the legislation so we know how to plan for the next 5 years. All manufacturing needs time to change. Look at Jaguar for that. Cars more than most, and at the moment we are sadly in a stalemate. Lawrence Whitaker, CEO of Lister Motor Company. So I wanted to read that as it was, as I said, because you can't really say it any better than that. It's not the death of a new Lister model. We don't know, as I said, if it were going to be a supercar or not. I'd like to believe it was, but you never know. Based on their existing vehicles like the F-Type and the F-Pace, those are already nearly 700 horsepower vehicles, and those are just tuned examples of already quick Jags. So there was a very good chance that it would have been something incredibly special, because basically everything Lister does is incredibly special, and given that it was going to be, by their own words, a new road-going vehicle, well, I wouldn't have thought that would just be another, like, Restomod kind of deal, like the Lister Le Mans, which looks very similar to, or the other way around, the TWR Supercat looks very similar to the Lister Le Mans. I would like to imagine it was something different to that. It could have been, and there would have still been a market for that, but it's a shame at the moment. We're not mourning the loss in total, because as they said themselves, they don't know yet, so they're putting it on pause. They want to wait for clarification, something which the government is not exactly the best on, but fingers crossed for not only Lister but many other brands like this, some of whom are making changes, like Caterham with their electric model, etc. But this is a big deal for many of these brands, which are some of the most legendary marques in the UK. TVR, Marcos, Lister, even companies like Lotus have already made the change. Morgan, and many of the ones that they mentioned, even others like Ascari and Noble, which are kind of in and out of existence through the years. And it would be a shame to see that go away, because that is one of the most iconic parts of British motoring, and certainly one of my favourite aspects of it. Yeah, Rolls-Royce, Jag, Bentley, they're all very cool, but the smaller stuff is always what's really captured my attention. Bristol, various others as well. Really the examples of the more plucky, petrolhead side of British motoring. And if they're either forced to go electric, or to just go out of existence, essentially, which would be ridiculous, well, that would be a shame. So I really do wish Lister the best. I hope that the government gets their act together. I mean, don't we all? And yeah, like I said, I don't usually usually make news about things which aren't going to happen, but for this one, I'm definitely making an exception. So give me your thoughts down below, and if you hadn't heard about it before, well, it's not the best time to be aware of a new lister that was coming, I guess I should say now. Hopefully it still will. Of course, stick around for more automotive news on the channel, and thanks for watching.